Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Caleb here. Boomer Caleb.
Boomer.
And Rob is on hiatus tonight. He got stuck at the, not the podcast palace, but the palace on the prairie tonight, preparing for this week's game with Texas Tech. You all know what Rob does for us in the concession. So that's where he got stuck at, which happens from time to time during the season. So Rob's not going to be joining us tonight, so it's just going to be me and Caleb. First off, remember that Sooner Football Fans podcast is not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have some eligibility left. Make sure this Saturday for the Texas Tech game, Tailgate Like a Champion is at the corner of Jenkins and Brooks. It's an early kickoff. That means it's an early tailgate. Tailgate will begin at around 7 a.m. We'll be ready, up and running at 7 a.m., and it will go until game time. One good thing about the early games is you do have an opportunity to come out and hang out with us after the game as well. If you don't want to fight traffic, we got TVs with other games on that you can kick back and relax and let the traffic clear. We usually don't break down until the streets open back up around the stadium, hour and a half, 2 hours afterwards. So come out and join us before, after, during the game, either one. And if you're out of town and you want to find the best tailgates in the country to go to www.tailgateconnect.com. Dan Donnelly, the tailgate ninja as we call him, Sooner fan as well, can set you up with some of the most iconic tailgates across the country. Remember, that's www.tailgateconnect.com. Check out our YouTube videos on Thursday nights from Louie's on Campus Corner. Go by Louie's anytime. There's always great food, and they almost always have great drink specials. My favorite is the $7 pitchers on Thursday nights. That's why we go there on Thursday nights. And as you all know, for all you Sooner fans out there listening across the country, across the nation, you don't have to sit at home alone or with your family and watch the games. Team Bar Finder will show you what bars in your area have Sooner watch parties that you can attend and hang out with other Sooner fans. Other good thing is if you already have a bar that you go to with other Sooner fans, you can put that bar on the app as well. Sign your Sooner bar up to get more Sooner fans to come out. The app is free on your iPhones. What is that? The Apple Store they get that stuff from? Yeah, Apple Store. And you can download it on Google Play apps, or just go to www.teambarfinder.com to find the Sooner game watch party in your town. And remember, it is designed by a Sooner fan and Sooner alum, another Sooner Cali, which is odd because Dan Donnelly is a Sooner Cali fan, or a Cali Sooner fan. But Dave Lamb is the designer, Sooner fan and Sooner alum. So make sure and go check that out and follow them on Twitter as well, and follow Tailgate Connect as well. Dan will get you into some crazy tailgates. He had a pretty crazy one out in LA at the Rose Bowl this past game. So got Texas Tech coming into town. Caleb, how was IC today? Were you swamped?
Yeah, I mean, it's slowing down finally, so that's always good. Yeah.
Still slowing down, so you're not getting swamped with 12 and 13-hour days across the state?
It's still that because I'm driving a lot, so that doesn't ever really change. It's just I won't be as busy. So, I mean, that gives me more chance to come over here now, though.
Yeah. So, what do you listen to other than our podcast, of course? Driving around, what podcasts or sports radio do you listen to, or are you getting your Sooner information from?
Well, I mean, sports, listen to the franchise when I'm in town. Then podcasts, listen to Part of My Take, Fire and a Kid, UFC stuff, Joe Rogan, because I have long drives, so like the longer the podcast, the better for me. So, yeah.
Do you listen to the Sports Animal anymore?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I listen to I go back and forth in the mornings and
afternoons. Mornings I listen to them. I don't get a chance to listen in the afternoons. I surf the web on my phone and read the Brainiacs and 24/7 sports, and local stuff. So there's not been a whole lot coming out except for let's talk about this first off. The Trajan Bridges story. It was reported that he might be going to the defensive side of the ball, and apparently he is going to the defensive side of the ball, but it doesn't necessarily mean full time. Have you heard the same thing, Caleb?
Yeah, I think it sounds like he's doing both right now.
And do you remember Andre Woolfolk?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him tweet today about it too, or talk about it today.
Yeah. Do you remember watching him play when you were just a pup?
Not really, no.
Do you remember the catch that he made against Nebraska?
No.
The
Probably,
one.
I was like 5 years old, maybe, or something like that.
Well, you need to go YouTube it because it's it's the greatest catch in Sooner history. He lands on his back, kicks it with his foot, reaches out and grabs it with his hand while he's on his back and catches it. I think that catch kind of turned the tide of the game.
Wait, is that the 2000 game or?
Yeah, it was when the Red October game when we beat A&M and Kansas State and Nebraska and Texas. Anybody else that wanted to step up and play us that October, we just demolished them. But
A&M was the only close one, right?
Yeah, A&M was the only close one. My only thing, and Andre, I read an article today where Andre talked about everything that went on, and he did play both ways a lot. He played special teams. One of the things I remember about Woolfolk was the dude blocked like every other field goal or seemed like every other field goal and extra point attempt. The dude had a vertical that was gigantic, and he would just stand behind the line and jump up and block it. But I think it's early to start making comparisons to Woolfolk. Now, nothing against Trajan. I think, hey, he wants to play, as every elite athlete does, and he can play both positions.
Did you think Woolfolk's like the ceiling? I mean, was he like a 5-star recruit?
I think he was.
I think Trajan, maybe. I think, Heisman, like Desmond Howard, Charles Woodson. So, that's what
Yeah.
That's obviously the best. But, because if he's that good on both sides, then he
Well,
can do both like that.
And Woolfolk went to the NFL, played in the NFL, played receiver. One of the things that I saw in the article that he said was it's really hard to get the right amount of reps on both sides. That's the only thing. You can be good at both, but can you be great at both? You know what I mean? It's really difficult to get the amount of time in with the offense, the amount of time in with the defense. I don't think that it's one of the things that I've thought about, and I haven't seen anything on it, Caleb, is did he see something, or did he go, I can play on that side of the ball, I'm better than what you got, put me out there so I can help win some games. It kind of sounds like he's the one who, it was his idea from what I gather. Do you think that the defensive coaches were like, yeah, we need the help?
Especially at safety. Safety's been our position that we've been struggling with the most probably right now on defense. So, the play said he could, he's an athlete that can play the ball, and that's something we haven't had in a while. So, I think they both saw it that it's might be a perfect fit, and then he can still play offense too. He doesn't have to be the main guy on offense because he has 3 other 5-star guys with him that came in. So this is when he may make an impact instantly. So
well, and I think his defensive play has stood out with the special teams. I know that he's made 2 tackles on special teams, and he's very aggressive on special teams, which is one thing I love about Bob Stoops did it, and Lincoln is carrying it on, is they still put their best athletes out there on kickoff, punt, and kickoff return. You got your best guys out there. So it's interesting, though, that it has to be that the coaching staff thinks they need help, or they would go, nah, we're good. You know what I mean? Am I overthinking that, you think?
I think if he really wants to do it, then he went to Lincoln and asked about it. I think if he really wants to do it, I think I'm not going to say no to an athlete like that. So, I think it's more on his side than anything else because if he didn't want to do it, they wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Well, and I think it may be a deal that he knows he can get more playing time
Get
on
more
that
playing time, and
side of the ball
maybe
this year.
maybe he knows maybe it might be a better chance for him to go pro because if he can like stuff like that. I mean, all this stuff is all about going pro. I mean, none of it really that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Maybe he sees himself like I can do this better than a lot of these guys I play against. This might be my best chance to go pro.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, Rob brought it up though. The pay amount for a corner or a safety and a wide receiver is quite a bit of difference. I mean that's a drop in pay grade, but money's not everything to some guys. They just want to get to that level and play at that level for as long as they can.
I mean, one of the greatest corners we had in this generation is Richard Sherman. He's a wide receiver all college. He switched to cornerback in the NFL pretty much. And the reason why he is so great is because he has ball playing skills.
Right.
So I mean, maybe he just sees something like that. He knows I can just do that.
I'm excited for it because I mean any additions they can make to this defense to make it better, I'm all for. I mean, we joked last year about having half the offense play both ways last year when the defense started going downhill. So far out of 3 games, the defense, this is the time last year that the defense turned the corner the wrong way and started going downhill all season long. So hopefully we're not going to see that, but it's an addition to the defensive side of the ball that I think is going to be, it can't hurt.
Well, I'm not even sure he's going to play this year at all. Really, he has to learn everything. So I mean,
I did see a tweet today that probably the tweet of the day. I'd have to look it up to see who it was from, but it was, hey, we may get to see Sam Ellinger to Trajan Bridges this year anyway.
Yeah.
So, but that, I just thought about something that has happened. The Houston quarterback. What's his name?
It's King.
Yeah, you're better.
Derek King.
Yeah. Sitting out the rest of the year. He's played his 4 games. He's going to enter the transfer portal. I don't think he's coming to Oklahoma.
I don't think he's entering the transfer portal. I think he's just sitting out this year and playing next year. That's what he's saying, and that's what they're all saying.
Why would you sit out?
Because they have nothing to play for this year, and next year their schedule's easier, and just makes it.
So you don't
better.
think he's going to enter the transfer portal?
I don't think he's going to enter it. I mean, came out yesterday in a press conference and said he's staying here. He's staying in Houston.
Yeah.
He's just staying out because he thinks next year is like a better opportunity to do
what
stuff.
Do you think? What do you think about that? Do you think it's crappy or do you think it's
using the rules? I mean, he has the rule. Using the rules to his advantage. So
I understand
that's the
rules.
So,
I mean, I understand, but do you think it's crappy or do you think it's?
I mean, if he thinks if it could help him get to the pros and and then because like I said, all this stuff is about going pro, especially people like with his caliber. It's all about going pros. Maybe he can see this year's kind of a wash already. Like they'll be lucky to go to a bowl game. Like next year though, their schedule is much easier, and they can get on national stage play more often. And plus, they'll probably have more weapons with them. The Dan Hogelson recruits. So I mean,
yeah. Well, I just think it's it is interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think it's the coach's decision to save you, and you're for it for another year. But for you to just go, yeah, I mean, I just think it's a little bit chicken poo.
I mean, what the player thinks he's ready, and the coach doesn't. The player is ready. He kind of proved he was, but the coach wants to save him for a year for himself. Well, I think it goes both ways because that happens all the time. Player's ready, but the coach wants to maybe keep him another year. So that's why I don't really mind it because I think it's about the same thing. Like he's just looking at I can play this year, but I think next year is better for my personal career. Just like when coaches redshirt players all the time, the player might think he's ready, but they want to save him for another year.
Yeah.
So it just adds on. I mean, so I think it's the same thing, kind of. So.
Oh, like I said, everybody has their own opinion. The buzz was, and I put a tweet out on our Twitter account, transfer portal to Norman, Oklahoma, and people are like, why? We don't need him. And I agree, we don't need him. It was just a joke, so I wasn't serious about it.
Don't need him, but he's a really good player. So, I mean, we can even come out this year and say he's a top 5 quarterback, if not better than that. But, I mean, like I said, I don't think he's transferring. I do think if he transfers, he's obviously going to give a weekend call at least, and then. But I won't be surprised if he goes somewhere up north too, like a Big Ten, if he does transfer.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's transferring though. I'm pretty sure he's staying there in Houston.
No. And I do want to make another public service announcement real quick. It was brought up on Twitter. Some people didn't quite understand Jim Dillingham's tweet. But it is not okay to wear a Baker Mayfield Browns jersey to an Oklahoma game. I'm just making that clear. It has nothing to do with Baker. I like Baker. Do you agree with that or not agree with it?
I already said I don't care if people wear it, but
To a game?
I don't care.
Why? It's brown.
They own it.
And
They can
orange.
wear what they want.
It's brown and orange.
It's still it's America. You can wear whatever you want.
I know it's
a
but I mean, does it make sense to you?
kind of. I mean, people love Baker so much around here. So I mean, that's what makes sense.
Everybody loves Baker. I love Baker. I don't want him to do well against my Steelers, but the point is it is okay to wear a Baker jersey.
This doesn't bother me. It's just like
an OU.
It's like if OU gets there's different uniforms. It doesn't bother me. So I mean,
So if they came out in a black uniform, it wouldn't bother you.
I would love that. I want to wear all black. So yeah, like they did shit. They did the white out. They came in with the white helmets and everything. It'd been awesome.
Yeah, the white helmets would have been pretty cool. I mean, because that's not really breaking tradition. Oklahoma used to have white helmets. So, no, I just, when you look up in the stands, you should see a sea of crimson and cream or red and white, and when you look in the stands and you see people up there in brown with orange jerseys on, it's just not right. I'm just saying, if people disagree with me, I'm sorry.
I think it's just like the jersey thing. I think if you don't care about how OU's jersey, I think it's the same thing. So I mean,
yeah,
that's why I really don't care.
Well, you should. I'm disappointed that you don't have an opinion on it.
I have an opinion. It's just different. You're a different opinion.
Well, but it's wrong. I mean, that's
not wrong.
Okay, would it be okay? Let's see what's the running back at Oklahoma State's name? Hubbard. Yeah. Let's say Hubbard sits out a year, enters the transfer portal, wants to come to Oklahoma, and fans wore his Oklahoma State jersey to a game. Would that be okay?
Be weird, but I wouldn't care.
Oh my God, you're lying now.
I wouldn't care. I mean, so people I said people want somewhere Texas in our stadium. Like, I mean, if you want to try to get a fight with someone, I guess. But I mean, like if I went to Texas, I'd wear an OU shirt in there. Yeah. So I mean,
well, anyway, that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it, just like my defensive Kool-Aid. Please don't wear Baker Mayfield brown and orange jerseys to an Oklahoma game.
It's mostly kids too, so I mean,
no, it's not. I've seen some grown-ass people wearing them.
Right, that's surprising. He has he's one of the biggest stars in the league, but that's why. I mean, he's also. So I mean.
So is he going to be one of the biggest stars in the league by the year's end?
Yeah.
If they only win 4 games?
I mean, when they won 6 games last year, it didn't change anything.
Well, but people have been disappointed in him this year. Rex Ryan, you heard what Rex Ryan said. He was overrated.
And then Baker said to him today.
Yeah.
Baker's response is better.
Yeah, Baker's, he's not he's not wearing colors for a reason.
He's not wearing colors. It's like only people matters. Brown and orange, and he's not wearing color. He's not any colors. That's for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to Teddy Lehman on the way home, and Teddy was like, I like what he said, and I agree. I thought it was funny. It's Baker-esque. That's why people love Baker. But Rex Ryan was one of the designers of one of the greatest defenses in NFL history and has a Super Bowl ring. So it's not really true. I'm pretty sure Rex Ryan could be coaching somewhere if he wanted to.
Assistant coordinator. Maybe be a defense coordinator, but that's...
Yeah, maybe not a head coach, but, I mean, he doesn't want to coach anymore, so he's working on TV and making millions of dollars doing that. So I can't say that I blame him for that, but it's Baker being Baker, and it gives everybody something to talk about. Everybody, all the Browns fans, lifelong and new Browns fans that are out there, which I'm pretty sure all of y'all in Oklahoma are new Browns fans. But
I think most people, but people are going after Baker as people don't like him in the first place.
Right.
And everyone else kind of realizes the play calling's kind of crap. The offensive line is very good. So I mean, and they can't block no one, but yet they're running vertical routes all the time. Yeah. It makes no sense. So I mean, I think people actually pay attention. They aren't anti-Baker. They're ones actually not blaming him. They're more blaming Kitchens,
right?
Which I think that's what I have an issue with them. I'm not even a fan of the team, so I mean, But the play calls he has are just stupid. Like the 4th down on the 4-yard line with 3 timeouts. You do 4 pass plays in a row. I mean, it just like, and then I don't know. Like, but people don't like Baker though. Like that's what they're all coming out right now. That's what happens. You have your stance now in today's media, and then you get proven wrong. They shut up for a little bit. Then as soon as something bad changes, they come out of the woodworks.
Right.
And,
Well, and Baker's the guy.
and Baker doesn't like hide from it either. So that's another thing too.
Baker's the guy that if he's your quarterback, you love him, and if he's not, you hate him.
Yeah.
Unless you're an Oklahoma fan, like hey,
That's
we
the
want him
same
to
thing,
do well. We want him to do well, but we don't want him to do well against our team.
It's still the same thing because like everyone in the country hated the guy besides OU fans. So I mean, like,
Right.
he's the most polarizing figure in college. So I mean, like, but yeah, I mean, the Baker stuff to me is just crazy. So, but like I said, he does it to himself, and I still don't think it's his fault right now. But if it keeps up, though, I mean, the next 4 weeks they have a real hard schedule. Then it gets easy, but they need to at least go 500 for him, like to calm everyone down. Like right now, people are saying Daniel Jones is better than Baker, which is funny to me because he beat the Buccaneers. Cool.
So, what else is going on in Soonerland, Caleb? Before we get into, or we don't even have to talk about Sooner stuff. We can talk about
Well, the basketball team started today.
another basketball team started. What about any good movies out there that I haven't been to a movie in I don't know how long. I fell asleep watching John Wick 3 the other night, so I don't know everything about it.
So what's coming out right now? I mean, Rambo came out. I want to go see that because
Why?
it's Rambo. I love Rambo movies.
Last Blood. Do you believe it's the Last Blood?
I don't know. I don't care. It's a cool name. Do you see Rambo says he's going to go see it?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I mean, I want to see that. And then the Joker comes out next week, so I'm pretty pumped for that.
Yeah. And the lovely Teresa.
The Breaking Bad movie comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks. 2 weeks.
The lovely Teresa is at the what's her name? The chick singer, the Monday Night Football.
Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, Carrie Underwood. They're from Chicota, Oklahoma. Teresa and Megan and the little grandbaby are up rocking out to Carrie Underwood tonight. So they're not going to quite have the time that you had at the Iron Maiden concert, do you think?
Megan might.
But I wish y'all could have seen Caleb. I was so proud of him. Do you remember any of the Iron Maiden concert?
Not really. I don't remember. I mean, a few of the songs. I remember that I had playing over it. But yeah.
You remember the last song?
No.
It's your favorite song.
Can't remember.
That's when you stood up. It's your favorite.
Yeah, because I stood up the first few songs and I sat down because it's like,
I wouldn't say you were standing. You were waving.
Yeah.
You were.
I mean, I drank all day at the Texoma. Then went at the restaurant, had 2 vodka waters, double vodka waters. When we got in, I got 2 big beers and then a margarita. And then I was done for a little bit.
No, you had like 4 more big beers.
Oh, I don't remember that.
So I was telling you to stop buying beers.
Yeah, but they're just going down good.
Yeah. And,
Well, I know it was about a week when I went back to the gym and I gained 7 pounds. I was like, well, kind of expected that. I already lost it all again, but still, it was annoying though. Like I went there, like, oh well.
Oh, it was all water weight.
It's all water weight, and then
Alcohol.
we're eating junk the whole time too.
Well, I mean, all we had Saturday was
Pizza, fish sticks at 3:00 in the morning, whatever. I had fish sticks, I think. Or something like that.
We had breakfast.
I had candy fudge.
Yeah. I ate your candy fudge, by the way.
Oh, I'm good. I wasn't going to eat it. So, I mean, and then like the night before I had chicken, macaroni and cheese, which I haven't had in forever, but it was really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wasn't surprised when I saw it. I was like, but it was like, oh, well, that was worth it.
Yeah. So, yeah, we go down to see the most iconic metal band of all times. And,
remember like 3 songs.
yeah. Do you remember creeping people out with your drink?
Oh, they weren't creeping out. People liked it.
There were some people that liked it. There were other people that were like...
That comes with the territory.
So, Caleb has a drink with a straw, and he's offering it. Do you remember keeping asking the 15-year-olds?
Yeah, no, I was messing with them. I remember that. I was messing with them. I wouldn't let them do it anyways.
Oh, yeah, you would have.
I wouldn't let them do it.
Yeah, I had to keep telling us, Caleb, stop it. Hey, I'm having fun. Leave me alone.
I was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't throw up. I didn't pass out. I mean, I take that as good Good night.
Good
I don't
night.
really throw up anymore though, so
Yeah. So, but you were fine by the time we got to Bucky's.
I mean, pretty much when we left, I was good.
Yeah. So yeah, Caleb was.
When we got back to the trailer place, first thing I did is got a beer.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, "Why are you getting a beer?"
Well, they were there.
So, yeah. So Caleb consumed a lot of alcohol. I did not. I was a good boy, primarily because when I go to concerts, most of the time I like to focus in on the music, and plus I was driving. And Caleb did ask me if I was taking him home after the concert. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah. Are you going to take me home? Well, who else is going to take you home, Caleb? You rode with me. I don't know.
I don't remember that part at all.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was an interesting night, but for those of you out there who are Iron Maiden fans, the Legacy of the Beast tour was amazing, or the show was amazing. A lot of songs from the 80s and 90s, and even 70s, or not really 70s, the really, really early when Iron Maiden first came out. So, and it is a very theatrical. They're not theatrical, but their stage setup is theatrical, so big and bold and loud metal. There's nothing better in the world than that.
I mean, it was fun. I mean, biggest thing I was complaining about was the stupid merch line, how much shirts cost. I mean, that was dumb. $45 for a T-shirt.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
so,
that's how everything is now because.
I go to concerts like $20 for like T-shirts.
Well, yeah, and the ones when you play at a venue like that, if you notice, they weren't roadies. That was a company selling the shirts for them.
Yeah.
And when you go to a venue like that, the venue has to get their cut. So back in the day when the T-shirts were like $10, they had roadies that set up and sold the shirts. I mean, that was their jobs. They traveled with the band, and it's not like that anymore. Now the venue sells you bring the merchandise and the venue sells it, or you ship it to them and the venue sells it, and they get a cut. So it raises it from $20 to $45. So,
I mean, I'll probably be back there maybe in a couple of weeks too for Texas because it was at the fairgrounds, so it was pretty cool seeing the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl, Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, did you?
Big difference there.
Did you hear that they're going to be selling more beer?
Yeah, there's like 18 stands now or something.
Which is one more than what there has been.
I thought it was only one stand last year. I thought it was just one last year.
No, I think they said it was one more. I could be wrong.
I think it was just one last year. Now they're opening all of them up.
Oh, so that's what we need.
I'm not sure if I go down there, I'm probably not going to the game. I'm either going to the state fair and drinking or going to a bar nearby and watch it there. So I think I just want to be down there just for the atmosphere. Plus birthday weekend too, so hopefully it's a good birthday. So I mean,
yeah, we're going to do our regular chili, Bevo chili. I know we talked about having an event here in Norman. We couldn't get that worked out. People are difficult. So maybe next year we'll have a big event in Norman. But let's get to the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who are 2-1 on the season. They beat Montana State. And by the way, I forgot to introduce Rascal, the podcast dog,
or the podcast
tonight. Bulldog.
So if you hear some huffing and puffing, that's him.
Yeah,
laying around.
It's the first time he's been in for a recording of a podcast, primarily because if we wouldn't have, he was at the door crying like a little baby.
Yeah, his mom's not here, so it was just locked out. Yeah. Plus, if Rob's here, he just attacks Rob the whole time.
He wants Rob to be his, prison bitch.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Rascal the podcast Bulldog is in here with us. So, but Texas Tech beat Montana State 45-10, UTEP 38-3, and then lost to Arizona 28-14. Caleb, question is, what is the biggest thing that stands out to you about those three games?
The quarterback got hurt.
The quarterback got hurt, but let's say the scores. Is it not nearly what?
It's not what it was, but
what they used to score last year.
I mean, I know the defense has been decently better this year. It's just like I was upset.
Have they though?
I've been really upset that the quarterback got hurt because I thought this would be the only time we get tested before Texas game.
Yeah,
and because he torched us last year, so I mean I thought it'd be the first real test we have, and now we We got Duffy, a running quarterback now.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Their defense.
They're decent before they played Arizona. That Tate guy ran all over them. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So what do you think?
well, Jalen should do the same. We should do the same thing. I mean, like the whole reason I was excited for this game was just to get an eye test of our passing defense was.
Right.
And now we won't get that until we play Ellinger, which is gonna suck.
Their defense is giving up 172 yards per game rushing, and averaging 133 yards per game passing. That's how much they're giving up. Their defense is, and that's against UTEP, Montana State, and Arizona. What do you think, Oklahoma, who's putting up, I don't know what they're averaging 10.46 per play, for crying out loud, and averaging 676 yards a game.
I mean, if we don't do what we've been doing all year, it's been a disappointment. So
Yeah.
I mean, we should be doing honestly, we should be better because I think that's the goal is get better every week. So I mean, the next 2 weeks is more of just sharpening everything up, make sure everything's at tip-top shape.
Right.
Because right now our biggest and really only threat I think right now is I think Texas. I think OSU is a threat because their offensive guys OSU are legit. So I mean, but I think this is our biggest threat of the year, and it's a team we've struggled with the last 10 years for some weird reason.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's where we find out if the defense is Kool-Aid worthy.
Well, I don't know yet. We're playing against
I know, but I mean, from this point on, this is where we're seeing if, and I'm saying if, Texas Tech scores more than 30 points. Okay, they only put up 45 points on Montana State. Okay, if they put up more than 30 points, we got a problem with our defense.
I mean, I think they could put more than 21 points. They have a running quarterback right now. They're one-dimensional. I mean, we should beat the crap out of them. This is where teams like Ohio State right now has been doing. Like they've been beating the crap out of teams. Like this is a team. I thought with Bowman, all right, there could be like some wiggle room, but with this guy, we should destroy him. Like it should be a blowout, and like we should. Like this something we haven't done in the last 2 years. We haven't we haven't blown out teams.
We haven't blown out Big 12 teams.
Yeah, we need this. Like this needs to be a statement game.
I mean, we beat the hell out of Kansas, but they still put 40 points up on us last year.
This needs to be a statement game saying this team's different. We can do all this stuff. Like I mean, I think that's what the whole team's goal is. Like no one's happy right now. Like no one's happy with anything right now. So I think it should be a statement for the rest of the country saying, "Holy crap! OU might actually have a defense." Like, because national people are still like, "Eh."
Yeah, they haven't.
They haven't done
still
anything.
don't know.
Yeah, still no. But I think if OU comes out there and holds them like to 14 points or like even like 21 points and beats the crap out, and people are like, "Oh, does OU actually have a defense this year?" Like, because until that happens,
right.
It's like,
and then does it again next week against Kansas. Doesn't let Kansas put up 40 points on them.
If we hold Texas like 30 points, I think people will be like, because we hold Texas less, but LSU held Texas. People really can't deny it. Then I think, but I mean, then again, LSU gave up 40 or something to Vanderbilt. So I mean, they're turning Big 12 teams. So everyone's saying now LSU got offense, but now they're turning Big 12.
But like I said, this is where we're playing a team, and we're probably I am probably putting too much emphasis on the last 2 years. Or the last several years against Texas Tech, that they have scored so many points on Oklahoma. It's been shootouts. It's been ridiculous scores. Both teams had like 800 yards 2 years ago. Wasn't that or was it 600? Mahomes Baker game? It was like 800 yards apiece.
I think so, yeah, because Mahomes went a year before. But I think that's 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because Baker went a year before, or Mahomes went a year before Baker.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, if people don't like Mahomes, that's crazy to me because if it wasn't for Mahomes, we didn't have Baker here. So
yeah.
I think every day you should all think that Mahomes with the Texas Tech, because then we probably would never had Baker.
Yeah, but my point being though is this is a team that historically has scored a lot of points against Oklahoma. Different coach, different scheme, and everything else. But it should be a team that, if we expect to be the team that we've wanted the last 3 or 4 years with a solid, strong defense, they should hold them under 30 points. You're saying under 21. I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah, I think 21's. I think 21's like I mean, like I said with Bowman, I'm like nah, maybe a little more than that. But with his Duffy guy, I mean, he can't throw. Like unless he got better in the off season. But I mean, right now, like, I don't got the spread right now. We're minus 27. So I mean, for that to happen, I think we need to hold him to like 20 something points and score around 50 or 60.
Right.
So I mean,
But like you said, the Arizona quarterback was able to run pretty much all over them, or run enough to get Arizona's offense moving. Um, he ran for 124 yards against the Texas Tech D. Hertz's rush for 150 yards against pretty much everybody.
yeah.
One of them 100 yards in one series, the first series of the game. Man, it should be an Oklahoma score. I'm thinking 51, 50 plus to 24, 28. What do you think?
I mean, we should. I think 28's for me is like the. If we get 20, I wouldn't be disappointed, but I wouldn't be like happy.
All right.
Personally. So if we hold them like anything under that, I'd be good.
All right. I'd like for it to be lower because that would mean it's significantly better.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, I like a shutout, but
yeah. UCLA 14 points. Houston, what did end up 30 points?
Yeah, but like that's two of them were garbage time.
And then North
Dakota
or South
14.
Dakota, whatever Dakota State, the Coyotes. It should be about that. I don't see any reason for this offense with Texas Tech to do anything different than they've been able to do against everybody else,
especially with the backup quarterback.
Yeah, with the backup quarterback.
Expectations are high for this game. I want to see ODU make a statement because, I mean, the best teams in the country so far have made a statement. Like, I mean, Ohio State's killing teams. Wisconsin's killing teams. Mm-hmm. I mean, Georgia, they play against a top 10 team. They won. Like, wasn't most impressive, but they still beat a top 10 team.
Right.
LSU on the road. Bama's killing teams. Clemson's been impressive, but not, I guess, as impressive as you think.
Oklahoma's been killing teams.
Been killing teams too, but I just want to see them like keep it going.
But I mean, like you said, I think the biggest issue is that's what Oklahoma's done year in and year out, but they've always done it with a terrible defense, and the defense hasn't played anything.
We haven't blown teams out like those teams still blow teams out in the conference. Right. We don't do that.
We haven't done that. I mean, we've come down
the wire every game. Every game is like a heart attack.
Right, right. Not like it is a heart attack. Yeah. That's what it's been. It's been. Baylor that when they were no good, Kansas State when they were no good, putting up points
Texas when they're no good.
Yeah, putting up points on us when they're not putting up points on everybody else. That's what we got to fix because Oklahoma's going to get theirs. We're going to get our 40 points. It's just that simple. We got to quit letting these teams get 38 points when we get 40.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to see happen this weekend. That's what I'm going to be watching this weekend. What about you?
Man, it's the main thing. I just want to see us dominate. I mean, it's been a long time to actually watch a Big 12 game and this one's done.
Yeah.
I mean, does it happen? Even last year for Kansas, all right, this is done. The Kansas go scores twice. I'm like, oh, God, you kidding me? So I mean, it's just it's been a long time since that can actually take relief breath. All right, I mean, even though the UCLA game, we had the game in control. It's just OU's defense the last few years has been so bad. So if they get a drive, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This is going to happen again. Then we stop them 3 straight plays. That's been one big thing different this year. I saw Eddie tweet out we're top 10 in third down defense, which is plus 100 from last year. So I mean that's been our biggest thing the last 2 years. We're giving them third and long to get first downs.
Right.
But this year we're getting third and shorts over the last 2 years is guaranteed first down.
Yeah.
This year though, long and shorts have been stops.
Well, the problem with the third and longs the last several years was that 10-yard cushion, and they're not giving that anymore.
And then last year, every time I got third and two, they got this, and then they would get it. Now this year, I think multiple times teams would get short yardage, and we stuff them. I mean, that's the biggest thing I've noticed this year is turnovers, D-line, and actually getting off the field. Because that's been the biggest issue is that we'll get into third downs and couldn't get them off the field. It's not like we're giving up 10 yards of play. So that's what I want to see that keep going. Keep that consistent.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma's defense, I'm trying to read it here. I printed it off.
Plus, our D line's getting deeper. Man's coming back this week.
Yeah.
Which I heard everyone's saying is huge.
I'm looking here. The deal I printed off is like in ultra tiny type. But yards per game, average per game. Oklahoma's giving up 212 in passing and 140 per game in rushing, which I think should go down. I mean, if we're going in the right direction, those numbers should start going down, because you don't have trash time. You don't have second and third string guys in there in the second half of the game still learning. They're second and third string for a reason,
Yeah.
Even though we want to believe, well, our third string should, stop North Dakota State. Well, yeah, in theory, you're right, but and they do, but they're going to give up yards because they don't get the reps in practice. That's the only reps they're getting is in that game. If that make you know what I mean. They're not getting that opportunity to gel and play in a game type situation.
Well, they're getting better, more opportunities now because we're playing everyone.
Yeah,
I mean, we're rotating everyone like crazy. I think we're just getting too comfy. I mean, because I think right now because we're just dominating teams and we're still doing good on defense. So I think we're just getting kind of like happy, I guess.
Right.
Just like getting more comfy than we should be.
And everybody got upset about, I guess, Barry Trammell's.
I mean, it was a joke of a top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the worst top 10 I've seen in my life.
Well, but I mean, look, let's face it, top 10s don't mean anything right now.
Wait, it's top 10. It's top 10s of what we've seen so far this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I don't know what, I mean, I guess you want to get I don't think Barry likes to get headlines, so everyone says about the guy, but
yeah,
it's a terrible top 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was, but I mean,
it was Auburn 1. I mean, the fact they had Wisconsin 4. Well, I thought Wisconsin what they've done so far, and there's multiple teams that I think he still had USC in top 10 still, and Texas in top 10. That makes USC lost to BYU. How can you have them in top 10? It was just terrible. I think he got roasted all day today.
Yeah. I saw it
nationally and everything.
I started to put it out there. I started to put ours out there, and have UCF at number 1. Just kind of the thing. Right? I know, but that's what I mean. It's just it irritates me when Oklahoma drops during an off week and all that stuff. It's like
I don't mind teams that have passed us so far because they've looked impressive. We looked impressive too. It's just our schedule's god awful right now, and all those teams ahead of us are going to play each other out. So right now it doesn't bother me.
Right.
So it's just that's fine. Go ahead of us. You beat better teams. You've looked dominant doing it. So some teams have. So it's just
but I mean, I think Kansas State is significantly better from everything that I've seen.
So good they are this week.
They play Oklahoma State, right?
Yeah. That'd be a good game. That's a really good game.
They beat Oklahoma State last year. So
yeah, but I mean that was one of the worst losses of the year too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a really good game. I think another really good game that's going on the radar is Baylor, Iowa State.
Yeah.
That's a really good game too.
And a lot of people are surprised that Iowa State is picked to win that game. They're 3-point favorites, and I agree with that. Iowa State hasn't done really anything.
Yeah, they barely beat Northern Iowa. They probably should have beat Iowa, but they've always found a way to lose that game.
Yeah.
They're kind of like OSU. They're like the other state. They're like OSU against OU. They always find a way to lose.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think those are two really big games for teams that we'll see. I think OSU's can threaten us just because their offensive power. I think we still win because we always beat them. But they're scary to me because they might have the best back in the country, might have the best receiver. And that center's kid is a baller.
But the thing is, in those games, like with Texas and Oklahoma State, and even I'm going to say Kansas State right now, is that's when the defense has got to, those are the wins that we don't need to be, 45-40. They don't need to be like that. We need to start putting some of those teams out 45-30, 45-28.
Both those wins are wins people are okay with being close because they're rivalry games. Everyone's they're better than this team, but rivalry games, especially in college. I think Auburn and Bama, some years, but Bama is not nearly as good, and they keep it close. I mean, Auburn's not going to keep it close.
Yeah, but the last couple of years with Texas Tech and Baylor.
Who else? You put those teams away.
Yeah, and even Iowa State. We let Iowa State beat us at home.
Yeah.
And and then last year throw the egg out there defensively against Texas. And everybody else. I mean Army was the start of that.
So this year, I don't think we can make a mistake this year. There's too many good teams out there, and like our schedule is so bad. That
Well, I've said it before. A one-loss Oklahoma team will not make the
especially
playoffs
the way
this
Notre
year.
Dame played. Like I thought Notre Dame loses them, and like, oh, they're not going to make it. But the way they play against Georgia, people are like, oh, they actually look good. They actually look like they belonged. Like now, Notre Dame's not out of it at all. If they go undefeated the rest of the year, they're in play. Like we can't afford to lose. I don't think this year.
Right. For sure.
Which is crazy because we're Oklahoma, but I think our schedule is just so bad.
Well, but the only way I agree with what you said one time. The only way is if it was close with another one-loss team that they want Alabama and Oklahoma to play again. The Jalen Tua thing, but I think I'm more on the deal of Oklahoma. No matter how good they are, if they lose the game, they're going to be number 5 at the end of the year.
Unless it's like close to Texas and we beat Texas in the championship. That's the only way I can see it's somewhat changing. But I think Notre Dame's still in the hunt now because the way they looked against. I think Georgia's better than them. They should win by more, but Notre Dame didn't get blown off the field.
Right.
They actually looked like they belonged on the field. Ohio State's been dominating people. Wisconsin, they played each other this year, so maybe they can beat each other out too, like maybe Texas does. Clemson's not going to lose a game the rest of the year. They're automatically in now. Like their schedule's worse than ours.
Right.
And then Bama, they got 3 teams in the top 10 they got to play.
Yeah.
And so they'll eat each other up, but then people are like, oh, well, SEC, top heavy. So.
But I said and I say that because it concerns me because it's like Oklahoma's had 2 chances being in here and they didn't get blown out in either game. They got embarrassed in the first quarter against Alabama. I just think people are going to go, hey, they've had their chance.
Well, even against Clemson, we got pretty bad against Clemson. So I mean,
but
but then again, if it's between us and Notre Dame, like, well, they had their chance, and like something. But if it's like us versus SEC team, barely lost to Bama or something like that, like they can. Or this year, we always win over Ohio State. Like if Ohio State does have an embarrassing loss this year, which if I do think they have one, will be this week. They have an embarrassing loss. I don't think they're going to, but Nebraska.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that if they have an embarrassing loss this year, it'll be this week against Nebraska. So game day's there. It's a night game. It's the first real big game with Scott Frost at home with game day and everything. So I think if Ohio State does lose, again, they shouldn't lose. I think it'll be this week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll all play itself out.
It always does.
The main thing Oklahoma has, somebody gets beat by somebody that when you never expect them to get beat by. I mean, Purdue and Ohio State last year, that kept them out. I just think Oklahoma to get in the playoffs this year is going to have to go undefeated, and I think it's possible. But it all lays on the back of Grinch and this defense because nobody's going to stop this offense from scoring 30-plus points. I'm going to even say 35 points. Nobody's going to stop this offense from scoring at least 35 points. And so all you got to do in those big games is hold Texas and hold Oklahoma State under 30 points, and you win the game. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
It's simple. They should let us coach.
I think even when we play against like Clemson and Georgia and Bama, they didn't hold us under that, and that's just mighty defenses. So,
nobody's going to hold this down. It's got another aspect in it of what you would have thought, we had Kyler Murray last year. Well, Kyler Murray didn't rush, and he wasn't supposed to rush like this. But I think some of it is Jalen's, own ability to get out of the pocket and get. But there are a lot of designed quarterback runs, and I don't mind it. Running it 16 times too much? Probably.
Well, he's here for 1 year for you.
Right.
He's going to use it to his advantage, and he's bigger than everyone on the field. So,
Right. Why wouldn't you use it to, 10 times, and even Lincoln said, no, we don't want our leading rusher to be our quarterback. But sometimes, what are you going to do in the situation like we talked about with UCLA when he drops back to pass and they swing that gate and there's nobody out there? When everybody else is on the right side of the field, any quarterback's going to take off and run. Yeah. I'm going to take off and run, and they'll catch me before they caught Jalen. But that's just good horse sense, the touchdown was a design draw, and it was a perfectly designed draw. So a lot of the stuff that his yards are getting is because it's the opportunity has presented itself, and he's taken advantage of it. So, but I'm just looking over here. Remember, then we went to the Rose Bowl. Did you know that when spelling granddaddy looks really weird now that I look at it?
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, it's got GRANDDADDY. It's like Mississippi. I just noticed that. It's like, that's weird looking. Anyway, Caleb, you got anything else that you want to spew out there to the folks?
Hopefully, Cardinals hold on to the division.
Yeah, they swept the Cubbies.
Cubs, but they don't have a 2-game lead on the Brewers.
Yeah.
So and they play the Cubs again. So I think they win. I think it's win 2.
Yeah.
They're good.
Well,
Poor Rudy.
But guys, that's the podcast. Make sure and check us out again on YouTube. We will be doing our YouTube video from Louis tomorrow. We kind of gotten behind being out of town. Also puts you behind on work. So we have real jobs too, or we actually have real jobs, period, that we got to do. So we missed time. Me and Rob both. And, I don't know, you didn't miss any time, but me and Rob both missed some time with the trip to California and my trip down to Texas and Texoma last weekend. And I have been swamped at work. And so we weren't able to do a couple of things that we normally do. But hopefully this week we'll be back on track moving forward. But check out our video. That'll come out probably Friday morning, late Thursday night on YouTube. Check us out from Louis. Again, go check out tailgateconnect.com with Dan Donnelly's company for your tailgates around the country. And definitely go check on teambarfinder.com. Add your bar to it. Go to a bar and then let everybody know about it. And do us a favor, if you're listening to the podcast right now, share it on whatever social media that you see us on. If you listen to the podcast, go out to our Facebook page, share it with your friends. I know people talk about it and everything else. More listeners we get, the better. Share us with everybody on Twitter. Just when you listen to us, just let people know that you're listening to us. It would be highly appreciated. But hopefully everybody can also get out to our tailgate like a champion this week. Corner of Jenkins and Brooks. Yes, it's supposed to be raining. Scattered thunderstorms Saturday morning, and now they're kind of stretching them into the afternoon. But we still will be up and running with TVs, music.
I don't think it's supposed to be that hot either, is it?
No, it's supposed to be like 80, 89, 85, something like that. But thunder showers in the morning, and they've kind of stretched them into the afternoon. But we do have the awnings, and we are under trees, and we will have some ground cover. So it might be the best place to be, is at a tailgate and sitting underneath a...
Hopefully just the lightning stays away.
Yeah. So, yeah, because you don't want to be under trees with metal canopies during a lightning storm. So, but that's it, guys. We'll see you next time. Boomer Caleb.
Boomer.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Sooner Football Fans Podcast is hosted by Rob Nixon, Terry Long, and occasionally Caleb Long. It is produced at the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma. Follow us on Twitter at SoonerFBFans and like our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Sooner Football Fans, and visit our website at www.SoonerFootballFans.com to read our blogs and keep up with our tailgating activities. Boomer Sooner, everyone.